Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me on this week's Facebook Live. Today I want to be talking to you guys about, my name is Wendy Myers, for anyone who doesn't know who I am. I'm Wendy Myers of MyersDetox.com, and this week we're going to be talking about lymphatics and your lymph system and how your lymph system helps you detox, and the gut-associated lymph system which surrounds your intestines and why that's important. We'll be talking about the best supplements for lymph drainage and 4 ways to get your lymphatic system moving and keep it healthy. And I like to do these Facebook Lives every week, every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. You can join me here on my page, facebook.com/MyersDetox, to join in, and I also answer any questions that you have. So please don't hesitate to leave any comments or questions that you have that you think of about detoxification that you're having during the course of this interview, and I will answer all of your questions. Be happy to. And I'm not leaving until I answer all of your questions. So let's get started on our little chat about lymph. So your lymphatic system helps you to detox, and it works kind of like a drain. And it's just a system of vessels in your body with lymphatic fluid, almost kind of like the arteries in your body, but the vessels have lymph in them. And it detoxifies the body, it removes the waste and makes sure that offensive substances like bacteria and allergens, heavy metals, mold, fungi, chemicals, trans fats, and all these things leave the body eventually. And it supports every other system in the body. It's critical for your immunity. So ignoring the health of your lymphatic system means that your immunity is going to suffer, and you're more likely to deal with common illnesses or even long-term health problems. And the drainage of your lymph is very important prerequisite to detoxification. In fact, if you can drain the body better, and what I mean by drainage is opening up your lymphatic system to promote a release of toxins, if you can drain them better, you're going to reduce detox reactions or healing crises. And so the next thing I want to talk about is the gut-associated lymph system, which surrounds the intestines, and why that's important. So your GALT, or the gut-associated lymphoid tissue, is a component of the mucosa-associated lymphoid tissue, which works in the immune system to protect the body from invasion in the gut. And the GALT is made up of several types of lymphoid tissues that store immune cells, like T and B lymphocytes that carry out attacks and defend against pathogens in your body. And owing to its physiological function in food absorption, the mucosal surface is thin, and it acts as a permeable barrier to the interior of the body. And because of that, it's very fragile. The permeability creates vulnerability to infection. And in fact, the vast majority of infections invading the human body use this route. And the importance of GALT in the body's defenses relies on its large population of plasma cells, which are antibody producers whose number exceeds the number of plasma cells in all of the spleen, lymph nodes, and bone marrow combined. So your gut lymph system is very, very important. And now I want to talk about some lymph drainage techniques. So we have dry brushing. Dry brushing is basically like a boar bristle or a natural bristle brush that you brush your skin with, but your skin needs to be dry, and you want to brush up from the feet all the way up to the chest, and particularly your left chest, because that's where your thoracic duct is, and that's what drains all the lymphatics into your blood system. So you want to rub on your left side of your body really, really well. And don't forget to also brush your underarms and your groin area, and really whisk those well, because those are where your big lymph nodes are. And also your neck is very, very important as well. And you can also use inversions where you're kind of hanging upside down. That can facilitate the flow of lymph in your body. Aerial yoga is a great way, or swing yoga is a great way to invert your body and promote lymph drainage. And any type of yoga which twists your body and in various ways is really helpful to drain fluid. Rebounding is amazing. Rebounding is fantastic for just getting the lymph flow moving, but also any kind of exercise or walking, anything that exerts your muscles helps lymph flow, because your lymph are, little vessels, and we need the muscles contracting to pump the lymph up. So anyone who has lymphedema or they've got swelling of the lower legs, many times those people are not exercising and the lymph is just not able to flow upwards because they're not squeezing it with their muscles. They're not squeezing their calf muscles with their leg muscles, and the lymph will just pool. So just simple exercising is one way that our body is just developed to function. We're not developed to just sit around and do nothing and be couch potatoes. Our bodies were designed for many of the physiological aspects for our body to function. It requires exercise. So anything that exerts your muscles helps lymph flow. And then there's a massage. There's a lymphatic drainage massage that's specific. Usually it's just but any kind of deep tissue massage, all of that is very, very helpful. Massage can activate the lymphatic system and helps flush excess fluid from within the tissues. Also, the whole body vibration machines, ones that Dave Asprey talks about a lot, those are really great for lymph flow as well. And infrared saunas, those are great. I talk about those a lot. Any kind of sweating, that all helps the circulation, including the lymph. And infrared energy is really, it's a frequency that goes deep within your skin, at least a couple inches in depth. And how it works is it agitates your cells, it agitates the water in your body, it agitates the fat tissue and the adipose tissue. And what it does is it moves and draws out the toxicity or the toxins. And really all different types of toxins can be removed from the tissues in the lymphatic fluid, organic pollutants, glues, paints, VOCs, volatile organic compounds, pesticides, fertilizers, chemicals, metals, all of this stuff is going to, come out of the lymph tissue and can be sweated out through your skin. And that's why the infrared sauna to me is one of the, my favorite ways to open up and drain it out and excrete it out through your skin. Your skin is one of your largest detox organs next to your gut. And within about 6 weeks, you can detox a lot of things out through your skin if you're using an infrared sauna really, really intensely for a short period of time, a couple of months, 6 weeks. You can detox a lot of stuff out of your body. And so I want to take any questions that we have. So Mary, so when skin brushing, do we brush upwards towards the heart? What about brushing the breasts? Any benefits in putting emphasis here towards the axilla area? So yeah, so you want to brush from your feet up to your chest. So you want to have upward movements from your feet upwards towards your body. Really, really important. Your breast is full of lymph tissue, so you also want to be dry brushing your breast as well. That's a very good point. Really helpful to help drain the breast and the lymph tissue surrounding your breasts, and that's perfect. And so I'm going to talk a little bit more about supplements that help with lymph drainage. So supplements that can further help lymphatic drainage and detoxification include burdock root, digestive enzymes, activated charcoal, and milk thistle. Also, my new Citra Cleanse is coming out soon. It's going to be here in a couple of weeks. That's a modified citrus pectin. Also really, really helpful for detoxification of any kind. And burdock root is really interesting. I actually get some at this farmer's market I go to. There's a stall that sells Korean food, and there's a fermented burdock root product that I get that I can eat the burdock root. Some people, you can buy it as supplements. A lot of liver supplements will have burdock root in them as well. Digestive enzymes are really, really helpful because many of those will improve digestion, also promote, many of them will have ox bile to improve bile flow in the body. That can be really helpful to get toxins bound up in that bile, and that can help with lymphatic drainage. So you need adequate bile flow to help with detoxification. Taking things like phosphatidylcholine or a lot of liposomal supplements, like the Quicksilver brand of supplements, they're all the liposomals start with the phosphatidylcholine as a fat, and that can be really, really helpful to as a building block. It's a base to make bile. So those types of liposomal products can be really, really helpful to increase the amount of bile that you're making, which can increase the amount of toxins that you can detox. But then you need to take binders to clean the bile of all the toxins. So that's where activated charcoal and my new Citra Cleanse coming out soon. That'll be in the Myers Detox store pretty soon on store.myersdetox.com. You'll get an email about that if you subscribe to my email newsletter. Milk thistle, also really, really helpful for lymphatic drainage and improving the liver functioning. Iodine deficiency can also cause a sluggish liver if your metabolism is kind of slowed. So supplementing with iodine can help improve thyroid function, which helps the metabolism in general increase, which can help lymph flow. And there are certain essential oils that can be beneficial for improving blood flow and reducing swelling in the lymph nodes. And these include lemon, myrrh, oregano, cypress, and frankincense oils. I love essential oils. I use them almost on a daily basis. I use a lot of lavenders and citrus blends. And essential oils are great for improving lymph flow and for detoxification in general. And Dr. Suzanne Bennett, who is one of the people who spoke on the Heavy Metals Summit that I did last month, talked about opening up the drainage organs by using homeopathics. So there's a great one called the Renalex that is for kidney function. And another one is APO HEPAT, hepat for the liver. That's a great homeopathic remedy. And then Iteres is a cream, ITIRES. It's a cream for lymphatic system, and it's a drainage formula. So, Pekana is another great one, PEKANA. These are all 4 different homeopathic remedies that she recommended to help lymph drainage. And the Iteres cream is interesting because it helps to up-level the lymph nodes. You can put the cream under the armpit or around the belly button area. Because in the digestive tract, there's a huge lymphatic tissue called the mesenteric. And what I just talked about, the gall, that helps to drain the bowels, the gut-associated lymph tissue. And it helps detoxification of the bowels and lymph movement in the bowels, the Iteres does. And then draining, and this is the most important area, is on the neck. And the reason why is that, number one, that's where we have a lot of heavy metals, because people have mercury fillings in their mouth, or they used to in the past. And so we want to drain the brain lymphatics, and we need to open up those channels and get those toxins out of the brain. And you can do that with Iteres cream. So you can put some Iteres on your neck, around your lymph nodes that are right here. And that's really, really helpful for brain detox and opening up the lymph channels going from your brain into your body. And there's some great foods that aid lymph function. Lemon, so drinking a glass of warm water with lemon or lime first thing in the morning is fantastic. Great for your liver, and cleansing the liver as well as your lymph. And red staining foods are also really important for moving the lymph, like cherries, pomegranate, beets, and cranberries. Beets are especially useful because it can really help clean up the villi, and which is part of your gut-associated lymph tissue, and it can thin the bile, and it's also responsible for the immune response in the gut. So the villi are. So really, really helpful to eat beets, and for your liver as well. Beets are great for cleaning lymph and detoxing your liver. And so let's see, we got a lot of questions here. And so, Teresa, I have a far infrared sauna, but I hear it's not good to use with adrenal fatigue. What are your thoughts? So, adrenal fatigue can really just be chronic fatigue. And one of the reasons we have chronic fatigue is because of toxic metals. And it's one of those things where you have to do what works for you. Detoxification takes energy. And many times when people have adrenal fatigue, they're not making enough cortisol. That's your get up and go hormone. And so using an infrared sauna can make them more tired. And so it's one of those things, everyone is in different stages of adrenal fatigue or chronic fatigue. And so you have to do what works for you. If you do an infrared sauna and you're just completely just exhausted for a couple of days after that, for a day or two after that, probably a sign that you shouldn't be doing it. Some people can only tolerate 5 or 10 minutes of the infrared sauna. So it's more important to listen to your body rather than force doing detox protocols that I or other people suggest, because you have to do what your body is ready to do. You have to meet you where your body's at and care for your body where it's at. So for many people that are extremely fatigued, I recommend that they do our Nest Health Bioenergetic program. And that's a good place to start to increase your body's energy levels and increase its functioning and metabolism. If you're really, really chronically fatigued, you really don't want to begin with detox. It can be too taxing on your system. So it's a great way that I like to prime people to get their body ready for detox and get them the energy that they need to detox. And so it's adrenal fatigue is one of those things where there's such a vast spectrum where people can be starting to get into adrenal fatigue to people who are bedridden because they just cannot function. They don't make any cortisol at all because their adrenals are so fatigued or not functioning. So it's hard to answer unless I know exactly where you're at on that spectrum. But generally, you want to listen to your body. You can even just do the sauna once a week, just feel like you're making some progress, but you don't need to be doing it a lot and push yourself even further, into fatigue. So Marie, what do you think of castor oil packs to stimulate lymph flow? Yes, those are wonderful. Castor oil packs are great. They definitely get your circulation going. They help the liver to detox a bit. Those are wonderful. I think I like castor oil packs. I've done many of them. I think there's better ways to skin that chicken, to get your lymph flowing. I think coffee enemas are amazing also, and just generally walking and increasing your circulation. But castor oil is great. So Noelle, how is using a rebounder different than just bouncing on the floor? It's no different. It's the same thing. It's just the rebounder might be a little bit more pleasurable than jumping up and down on the floor, but it's the same thing. The idea is to get your body moving, the circulation going, and more importantly, squeezing the calf muscles to squeeze that lymph up through the tissues or through the lymph vessels. That's the goal. So Noelle, what is modified citrus pectin good at binding? So modified citrus pectin will detox a majority of metals. Modified citrus pectin is shown, and when I say modified citrus pectin, there's different kinds of modified citrus pectin detox different things. There's varying qualities of modified citrus pectin. Citrus pectin is going to be modified in different ways. They're not all the same. So you have to be very, very careful when speaking about modified citrus pectin and assuming that I'm talking about the same thing among all the different brands. So that's not the case. So there's some that definitely work better than others. But the CitraCleanse that I am releasing in a couple of weeks, this is a product that gets a lot of different types of metals, and it will get aluminum, antimony, arsenic, barium, bismuth, cadmium, cesium, lead, mercury, nickel, platinum, thallium, tin, and titanium. Not to mention, hundreds of different chemicals as well, including glyphosate. So the modified citrus pectin and the CitraCleanse that I'll be releasing in a couple of weeks, really, really effective as a binder to bind onto toxins in our body and clean the blood, clean the gut, clean out toxins that could be potentially invading our body and getting into our body through the gut-associated lymph tissue in our body, and it's just a great product. So what about the individual that has had their gallbladder removed? So, if you've had your gallbladder removed, you still need to drain your lymph. You still need to detox your body. It's just going to be a little bit modified. Usually you'll have to take, digestive enzymes and, take various substances like ox bile and things like that. But it's one of those things where you still want to, like I said, take digestive enzymes, but you've done that. There's really not a whole lot of different things that you do, but it might be beyond the scope of our lymph discussion. So Teresa, I love essential oils. Where should I apply them to help the lymph system? So I'll usually apply the essential oils on your lymph tissue. So right here on your major lymph nodes in your armpits. You can do it in your breast, by your belly button, behind the kneecaps as well, is a good place to put the essential oils to stimulate lymph flow. And so, Anu, so why do some people have reflux from drinking lemon water in the morning? So, you could have a sensitivity to citrus. Lemon water it's acidic, and so you might either need to dilute it, or maybe it's a sign that you have a sensitivity to citrus, which is one of the top 10 sensitivities out there that people can suffer from. So it's a sign your body is trying to tell you not to do that. So not all the things I suggest are going to work for everyone. You have to find what works for you through trial and error. So Laura, looking forward to catching on this replay, really interested in this topic. Thank you for joining us. And Rachel, so what is the best way to use essential oils that you mentioned, especially for helping lymph flow in the neck? So I just mentioned you can use certain essential oils like lemon, myrrh, oregano, cypress, and frankincense oils. And these oils you can put on the neck, on the lymph nodes right here. You can put underneath the armpits. You can put them on the breast tissue. You can put them around the belly button and on the belly, and then behind the kneecaps as well. And in the groin area, you have lymph, right in your groin area. So all the places where you have lymph nodes, you can put the essential oils, and usually want to put some drops in a carrier oil, because some of these essential oils are very, very strong, and you want a carrier oil to dilute them so you don't irritate your skin, you don't cause a skin rash. So very important to dilute. And so, let's see, Olia, thank you for joining us. So Kim, I started taking the Pectocell C and BioSil, my leg neuropathy and fatigue started to come back. Well, it's hard to know if when you started taking that is the cause or it's correlated to the neuropathy. When you're taking BioSil, you can mobilize toxins out of tissue. Aluminum is neurophilic, so aluminum can, start mobilizing aluminum from tissues and exacerbate the very symptoms you're trying to get rid of. This is very, very common. And so you might have to deal with that for a little bit while you're detoxing. And this is very, very common, but you can increase the amount of binder that you're taking, increase the amount of Pectocell C that you're taking, and hopefully that will help. Many times you just kind of have to power through the irritating detox symptoms. That's unfortunately kind of part of detoxification. If it's too intense, if you can't deal with the symptoms, you want to stop all the supplementation, all the products, and then start again. Start slower. Maybe you need less of the BioSil, maybe 1 or 2 drops of it, so that you're not getting such severe reactions, or or not getting these unpleasant reactions. But unfortunately, part of detoxification is dealing with detox symptoms, and like I said, it can flare the very symptoms you're trying to get rid of. So good luck with that. Just it's good to work with a practitioner if you're having really severe symptoms, just so they can help troubleshoot. But that's really all that I can offer in the way of trying to troubleshoot that issue. And let's see. And so you said your fatigue started to come back also. This is also very common because BioSil starts mobilizing the metals that cause fatigue. So you're not going to have an upward trajectory of improving your energy levels. That's not going to happen. Unfortunately, it's kind of like the stock market, where you'll have a dip and then a surge in energy, and you'll have a dip and then a surge in energy, but it goes up over time. And so this is the most important concept in detox to understand, to prevent discouragement, to prevent you stopping any kind of detox program, because it's just, like I said, you don't just automatically start improving because you're doing a detox program. You typically will start to feel a little bit worse before you feel better, but it should be tolerable. And if it's not tolerable, then you need to stop any kind of detox protocol that you're doing and then start again. You may not be ready. I mean, that's why we have our Nest Health Bioenergetic program, because if people aren't ready to detox, they have too many unpleasant symptoms. Their lymph may not be draining, their detox pathways may be blocked, you need to be pooping, you need to be doing coffee enemas, your liver needs to be working really well. The coffee enemas helps with that. Your kidneys should be functioning really well, and so lymph drainage needs to be working. That's why I want to have this chat with you guys to talk about the importance of lymph flow and getting that system working well. But if any of your detox systems are sluggish or clogged, you're going to have more detox symptoms or detox reactions doing a detox program than the next person. And if and many times doing a Nest Health bioenergetic program to begin with, it takes care of a lot of those issues. So it can get your metabolism working better, can get your detox organs functioning better, but ultimately you also want to be tending to the lymph and tending to doing coffee enemas and getting that liver working, taking liver supplements and supporting all the detox organs, getting all that working, make sure you're pooping and make sure your digestion's pretty good. And then you want to start on a more heavy-duty detox program. But most people can do binders, most people can do BioSil, no problem at all. But if that's bothering you, then it's time to take a step back and start with foundational type program like the Nest Health bioenergetic program, because that gets people functioning at a very high level, really, really effective. Okay. And so Robert, any updates on Boyd-Haley's trivalent compound? Yeah, I'm so sorry. I don't think that's going to be out for some time. I don't really have any updates on you, but we had this summit just last month, so I think it's going to be quite a while, number of months or at least a year before that product is available. I'm so sorry. So John Nuck, so what is the mechanism that causes the citrocleanse to detox so many different substances versus something like zeolite? Well, it's just that the modified citrus pectin is, it's about valence. So it's about the compounds that it attracts and is able to hold onto, and then you urinate those out through the body. And so zeolites, you can't throw all zeolites into one word. There's different types of zeolites, and some are harmful, some have aluminum in them, some are not effective. So there's a spectrum of zeolites, it's just like there's a spectrum of modified citrus pectin. So they all can do a little bit different things, but generally for zeolites, I'll use those zeolites for specific things. Like mold, if people have mycotoxins from mold, I'll use zeolites. But zeolites are great for getting antimony, barium, cesium, copper, manganese, nickel, tin, and uranium. So depending on the heavy metals or toxic metals that a client of mine will have, I'll use the zeolites for that. Like if they have tin or uranium or nickel, I'll use nickel. I'll use the zeolites because not a lot of substances get nickel, not a lot of substances get uranium. So it just depends on what you're trying to accomplish. But the modified citrus pectin, just because of its structure, its ability to bind to compounds, the valence or the bonding capacity, is just a much more effective product overall for detoxing many, many different types of metals and chemicals over and above the zeolite. But they have a similar action, but just a little bit different in what they can bind to. And so Rachel, so I've been taking Pectisol modified citrus pectin and liposomal vitamin C. I also sometimes use arugula as bitter herbs, and just wondering what is the best protocol for taking these, the vitamin C and the arugula first, and then 20 minutes later the binder. So as far as the binder is concerned, you want to take that about 30 to 60 minutes away from food and other supplements. So it doesn't necessarily matter when you take it, but I think it's good to take the Pectisol C or any binder about 30 minutes or so or more before a meal. And then when you eat that meal, your body will release bile, and then the binder will clean up the bile from the toxins. And so that's a pretty good rule of thumb in taking Pectisol. But you can take it at any point between a meal. You can take it first when you wake up. You can take it right before you go to bed. You can take it when you wake up in the middle of the night. So it lasts for about 12 hours in the body. Sometimes people like to take it twice a day. Totally up to you, but generally I would just take it 30 minutes away from the vitamin C and the arugula. And so Victoria, so will Pectisol C interfere with Nature-Throid? Yes, it will. So you want to take the Pectisol C at least 30 to 60 minutes away from thyroid medication and any type of medication because it will absorb it and prevent it from getting into your body. So generally I recommend people take their thyroid medication the first thing when they wake up, and then an hour or so later then do the Pectisol C. So Marie, so how often would you recommend we stimulate lymph flow should it be coupled with a liver detox protocol? So for lymph flow, I mean, generally you want to be doing something on a daily basis. So hopefully you're doing some walking, or you're doing some sauna on another day, or you're doing some dry brushing before the sauna. I like to dry brush before my sauna. So I do my sauna, 2 to 3 times a week. And so I'll dry brush when I first get in the sauna, when I'm not sweating yet. I get into the sauna and I'll just dry brush for, until I get bored of doing it. and then slowly over time I start sweating, and that's my kind of routine for lymph flow. But I also go walking a few times a week as well. So I'm doing something on a near daily basis to stimulate lymph flow without really focusing on it. I do essential oils as well. And so you really want to be doing something on a daily basis. That's how your body is meant to function. And so, Kate, I'm so glad you have this program. So interesting. Yes, I'm so happy to be here every single week, as I want to be doing a lecture and really, engage with you guys and teach you about detoxification. This is what I love to do, is educate people about the importance of detoxification and help you guys make those little distinctions to help you on your road to healing and health through detoxification. And so Jan, I just started removing my amalgams. Congratulations. What supplements do you recommend to detox mercury? So you scroll down in the index here on the Myers Detox page. Last week's Facebook Live was about mercury toxicity and how to detox mercury and how to properly remove amalgam fillings. And so you can check that one out for more information. But just a recap for you guys, lots and lots and lots of supplements that detox mercury. We have cilantro or coriander seed oil. Cilantro extract works great. I love Perfect Press coriander seed oil. I take that almost daily. And then some other products detox mercury are IMD Intestinal Metal Detox by Quicksilver, fantastic product. Metal Sweep is kind of the same product, a different name as the Intestinal Metal Detox. Modified citrus pectin, of course, wonderful. Sodium R lipoic acid. I prefer Life Extension Super R lipoic acid. That's the brand that I take personally and recommend. Curcumin will detox mercury. Garlic, glutathione. NAC, N-acetylcysteine, is the precursor to make glutathione, will help detox mercury. Selenium, fantastic at detoxing mercury. And zinc. So that's the main supplements. Most people on the Myers Detox protocol will get most of those to help detox mercury, and they detox a lot of other different metals as well. And so Kim, thank you so much for these sessions. Yeah, I'm happy to do them. Okay, so Sue, do you use a Pectosol detox formula? Yes, I do. I'm going to be switching though to my new Citra Cleanse. It's a modified citrus pectin. That's going to be out in a couple weeks, so I'm going to be switching to using that product instead. So that'll be out in a couple weeks, but the Pectosol C is a fantastic product. But yeah, I take it every single day. I do. Very, very important to detox. But not only that, but it can have so many other health benefits. It's shown in studies to kill cancer cells, it kills prostate cancer cells, and lots and lots of studies on it. It feeds your good gut bacteria. So it promotes gut health and just has so many positive benefits. It's really a very important supplement for people to take. So Josh, I have over 90% on some GPL tox test markers. That's a test for about 180 different chemical compounds and metabolites of chemicals. And my symptoms are gastroparesis-like, bronchoconstriction, silent reflux. So far, exercise, working out with weights, and stair stepper and sauna seem to provide lots of relief, better than the Quicksilver Scientific supplements I bought. Do you think this is related to lymph? And if so, is exercise a legitimate detox method in its own from your perspective? So exercise is a wonderful way to get the lymph flowing, get the circulation going, and promote detox. And anything that increases your metabolism and gets the circulation going is going to promote detox. Whether you're sweating, or whether it's an infrared sauna, or you're walking, or exercising, or rebound, doing yoga, whatever you're doing, those all promote detox. But because so many toxins are deeply embedded in our tissues, it's not enough. It used to be enough in caveman times, but now because of industry trudging up and the coal burning and the industry, the smokestacks all going into the atmosphere, there's so many toxins deeply embedded in our tissues. We have to be a little bit more aggressive in taking substances that grab onto those toxins and remove them from our tissues, extract them from our tissues. So those things alone are not enough. They're a start. Just living a simple, healthy lifestyle, like eating foods with tons of fiber, will grab onto metals, will work in that way, will bind to metals and take them out of the colon. Sleeping, getting adequate sleep. You sleep, you detox while you're sleeping, you digest your food while you're sleeping. Exercise, these very, very basic things promote detox. And, they promote normal bodily functions. Detox is a normal bodily function, but you do have to be a little bit more aggressive to have be most effective and to remove the majority of the toxins and chemicals and metals that we have in our body. So that's not enough. That's a start. You have to do what works for you. And so, Zara, you said strawberry. I don't know what that means. So, Michelin, what can I use in place of Pectosol? I have SIBO. So when you have small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, or SIBO, Pectosol C is contraindicated in that because it's a fiber that will feed good gut bacteria. And SIBO is overgrowth of good gut bacteria. You get too much of a good thing. So an alternative to you would be a product called Parasite Detox from Kiwi's Corner. And you can also take activated charcoal. You can take, there's a bamboo charcoal out there on the market that's great, that was mentioned in the Heavy Metal Summit. And so lots of different, products you can use, bentonite clays, you can use green clays, lots of different binders that you can use instead of Pectosol until you resolve the SIBO, and then you can use Pectosol. And let's see, so there's a Pectosol detox with arginate. It's actually alganates. And so alganates, the PectaClear product by Econogenics has alganates in it, which are made from seaweeds. It's what's in aloe and chia seeds and seaweeds to bind on to toxins. Like, it's kind of slimy. It's also what an okra. I love okra for that reason. So this kind of sliminess, it will bind onto toxins and remove them from your body. And so I prefer more modified citrus pectin. So the PectaClear doesn't have enough modified citrus pectin for my liking. So that's why I stick to the Pectosol C and recommend that. And so that's a differentiation between the PectaClear and the Pectosol C, is merely the alganates. So Annie, thank you so much for these programs. So much great information. Happy to share. So Kathy, I had an extremely itchy rash for the last 2+ weeks. Keeps me awake. I'm thinking my liver is being overtaxed. Any thoughts? I stopped the BioSil, liposomal vitamin C and such, being afraid to take anything. So yes, so typically when we get rashes, it can be a sign. There's lots of different things that can cause that, but it can be a sign that the liver is overtaxed and then toxins can start coming out through your skin. So, but it could be a lot of things. It could be a sensitivity to a detergent or a product, essential oil. It could be a food sensitivity causing that. It could be a metal coming out of your skin. Nickel will frequently cause rashes. Copper will cause rashes. Histamine reactions can cause rashes, allergies. So it's hard to know for sure. But yeah, when you have a reaction like that, you just want to stop everything that you're doing and allow it to clear. And then you can start one thing at a time. Like typically, people make a mistake when they're taking supplements or doing a detox program or starting a bunch of different supplements. They open the box, they order their products, they get the box and they open it up. It's like Christmas and they just start taking everything. And so you don't know if you have a sensitivity to any one of those things. So if you have a reaction, you don't know which product is causing the sensitivity. So it's really, really important to start, when you're starting any new supplement or regimen, to start one product at a time, that you take it for a couple of days. So if you have a reaction to it, you know which product is causing the problem. So I recommend going back to square one and introduce one product at a time, take it for a couple of days and see how you're doing, see how you fare. And if you get a rash, then you know which product could be causing that. You can also provide support for your liver by doing coffee enemas. That's a great way to just flush the liver, If your liver is like overtaxed or it's just doing double duty and there's a burden on the liver, coffee enemas are an amazing way to flush that out. You can also alternatively take liver support supplements. We have a lot of great products stored at myersdetox.com. You just search for liver, lots of great products in there for liver support. And Kathy, so how would you know if you have SIBO? Is this from taking too many probiotics? So certainly it can't. I mean, I don't see any cases that could be from overuse of probiotics unless the extreme, like people are taking a ton of probiotics. But many times bloating is a sign of SIBO, bloating or food sensitivities, but bloating is the main sign. But there's articles on the website, just type in SIBO or signs of SIBO and you can learn more about that. I know Dr. Josh Axe has some good info on that. So Kate, do you recommend far infrared or near infrared detox for sauna? I recommend both. I mean, they both do a good job. I think it's more beneficial if you are in a sauna that's providing near and far infrared rays. And so the question is, I use a sunlighting sauna and I also use a sauna space sauna. So sauna space saunas are bulbs, or it's a bulb sauna, and the bulbs do have near infrared, but they emit mainly far infrared. And so they're great for a number of reasons. The temperature is much lower, and I think they're a wonderful product, but there's also something to be said for the near infrared pulses that you get from sunlighting sauna. So you get near, mid, and far rays from a sunlighting sauna. Some people will develop sensitivities to the pulsating of the typical far infrared saunas that are on the market. And so I think it's just, like I said, I use both. They're both a little bit different. They're both equally effective. It's just a matter about what works for you and what works for your budget. And there's no right or wrong answer here. I think both of them are fantastic products. Some people want a wood sauna. Some people want the sauna space because they like the bulbs, or it's portable. It's easy to set up and break down. It's just a matter of what your tastes are. I think they're both equally wonderful choices. But I don't think it's a matter of doing only near. Like there's no such thing as only near infrared. Like you're not going to buy a sauna and it's only near, because the bulbs are mainly far infrared far infrared. So it's just a matter of choosing what kind of, the outside that you want. So if you want the wood, or you like the organic cotton canvas that the sauna space sauna has. But I use both. I go back and forth. So Carrie, do you suggest enemas and or colonics with your protocol? Yes, I do. I just mentioned coffee enemas. Yes, because I kind of have self-proclaimed myself to be the coffee enema queen. I'm going to be doing some YouTube videos about that soon. Some really funny videos. So yeah, I think coffee enemas are amazing. I think our livers are incredibly overloaded and overtaxed. When we couple in all of the above, like looking at the 80 to 100,000 chemicals we have in our environment, when you're looking at the dozens of toxic metals, when you factor in all the trans fats and the bad inflammatory fats, industrial seed oils that people are eating, and the refined grains and sugars and other things, your liver has to deal with all of that. And so if you're eating the typical standard American diet, not eating so good, or trying to eat healthy, but maybe not doing so good, your liver has to deal with that. It's a 911. And if it's dealing with a lot of different emergencies, or you have diabetes or high blood sugar issues, the liver again has to deal with that. And so detox goes on the back burner. Your liver's going to do it as best you can, but there's certain emergencies in the body that the liver has to get to first. And so many people find that their livers are just overtaxed, so they have fatty liver. Tens of millions of Americans have fatty liver disease. And then if you smoke, then you're just constantly adding toxins to your body. And so the livers need help. They need support. And that liver can be, the bottleneck for your body and not getting better and impeding detoxification. So I really highly recommend coffee enemas. And I know some people are kind of squeamish about that, especially the guys listening. Doesn't sound very appealing. But when you do them, you feel fantastic. Most people feel like $1,000,000 after they do a coffee enema. You just feel more clean. And I have to do a couple a week, or I just don't feel right. I mean, I can be fairly sensitive to that, but I can just tell when I'm not doing them. I just feel kind of, I just don't feel as well than when I am doing them. Especially if you've had some people have surgeries. After that, it's really great to do a lot of coffee enemas post-surgery to get, processed through all the anesthesia. If you're sick, you have a cold, your liver's dealing with a lot of breakdown of all the dead cells, the dead viruses the immune system is dealing with. So great to do a lot of coffee enemas to help your liver or your body process that through. If you're having any kind of detox reactions, detox symptoms, so you're having headaches or nausea or pain, or you're on your period, you're having cramps, or any kind of detox symptom, you're feeling brain fog, a coffee enema is a wonderful thing to do to relieve those symptoms. And it's just amazing. Like, I find sometimes if I have a big podcast with a really important guest like Dr. McCullough or whoever, I'll do a coffee enema right before, and my brain is just so much more clear, and my thoughts are more clear, and my speech is more clear. And so I use them in that way as well. And so, Victoria, can you do coffee enemas if you're allergic to coffee? No. So that's not going to work for you. Different things work for different people. Some people are really, really sensitive to caffeine. Those people can still do coffee enemas. You just maybe need a tiny little bit. Some people are very sensitive. They just need a tiny little dose. I do 2 big heaping tablespoons. I'm just not sensitive to it. But the next person can do an 1/8 of a teaspoon, just a tiny little amount, and that's going to produce the effect, the hermetic stress effect that the caffeine produces in the liver to get it to excrete the toxins into the intestines for elimination. So you have to do what works for you. So if the coffee enemas don't work for you, if you're allergic to coffee, then you can't do them. So you can do other things. You can do colon cleansing. There's other things that you can do. Let's just use water to do the enema. So Jordana, so how often to do coffee enemas? Are you taking new clients? So unfortunately, I don't take new clients. There's only one of me to go around, and there might be a point, maybe, I can't promise anything, but maybe where I'm going to send out an email to take 20 new clients only. And I can't promise that, but I might be sending that email out at some point, just because I really enjoy seeing people. I enjoy seeing clients and helping them detox. But I am still seeing my old clients that I've been seeing for the last few years, and they have been kind of grandfathered in. But unfortunately, there's just only one of me. And so we do have a team of practitioners that I personally train, and you can see them. I do oversee their cases, and we have our medical director, Dr. Bruce Jones, who also helps with more difficult cases with complex medical issues and things of that nature that we can ask if we have questions. But unfortunately, I'm not taking new clients at this time. And so coffee enemas, I think a really good pace is to do them 2 or 3 times a week, so every other day. I have seen some clients that were getting, just loving their coffee enemas and doing them every single day, or we're told to do them every single day on other protocols. But for some people, that can really dramatically reduce minerals in their body. And some people are more sensitive to that than others. I've put, thousands of people, I've told thousands of people to do coffee enemas, and I haven't seen mineral depletion in very many of them. But I have noticed that some people getting really aggressive with the coffee enemas can have a drastic reduction in their minerals. So it's one of those things where you want to make sure you're taking adequate mineral supplementation, repletion of minerals when you're doing any kind of detox program, coffee enemas or infrared saunas, or you're sweating, you're doing a lot of exercising, you're losing minerals and electrolytes. You want to be repleting those and supplementing with them every single day. And but coffee enemas are no different. I think you need to do them by every other day, or 2 to 3 a week. Even 1 a week just will suffice. If you're just starting out and just trying them, don't put any pressure on yourself to have to do them every other day. Many people are busy. They don't have time to do all that. And you can fit this stuff in, but if you only have time for one a week, great. Just make that your Saturday night. Doing a coffee hour, or Saturday morning, and just start there. You have to start somewhere and fit it in. So Diane, recommended brand of bentonite clay. Many of them say do not take internally. Well, they say that because they have to legally. So you kind of have to take some supplement warnings with a grain of salt. There's a lot of restrictions on supplement labels, and so many supplement companies can get in trouble with the FDA or the FTC, and even Amazon. They can't sell their supplements on Amazon if they make certain claims on the label or don't, give certain warnings on the label. So a lot of times, supplements, when they're advertising them, they can't say all the benefits. They can't say this detoxes that, or this detoxes that, or this reverses autoimmune disease, even if it does, because the FDA, Big Pharma, will not allow that to happen. It goes after manufacturers who make certain claims on the label. So that's unfortunate, but it also can protect people from unscrupulous marketers as well. But if they say do not take internally, clays can be taken internally. They're just not a food staple, but they can be taken internally. It's just, like I said, to prevent the company from being sued or having liability. So Josh, do you feel it's possible to properly detoxify without the use of coffee enemas? Absolutely, you can detox without coffee enemas. I think they're great, but there's more than one way to detox. Infrared saunas are probably the most effective detox method out there, so you can use those instead. You mentioned that you've done them, but I personally don't like them. You're welcome to the club. Not everyone loves coffee enemas. I don't love doing them, but I love how I feel afterwards. So could bitters, PC, phosphatidylcholine, and binders stimulate that process? Yes, those things, bitters stimulate bile flow, phosphatidylcholine stimulates bile production, and that helps, and then the binders will take out all of the toxins that are in the new bile that you're making. It doesn't replace coffee enemas, but it's anything you can do to support the liver is your body's, very welcome to that. And so Kate, I'm trying to make my own and have to think carefully. Julie, hi, I feel in need of a detox and have mold issue in my lungs and intestines, but I'm currently breastfeeding my 13-month-old, and many of the things I would usually use are not suitable while breastfeeding. Is there anything you would recommend? So you can take binders while you're breastfeeding, and in fact, it's very, very welcome because you'll, bind up a lot of toxins you might be, giving to your child through the breast milk, which isn't inevitable. I mean, it's just, nothing to be so worried about. I mean, we all have toxins in our body, and what's in our body gets into our breast milk and goes into our babies, and mostly in utero. So taking binders can help at least create this barrier where you're absorbing at least some of the toxins that can be getting into breast milk. So it's healthy for you and healthy for baby, totally safe. I mean, modified citrus pectin is made from citrus peels, so there's really nothing in there that's contraindicated with breastfeeding whatsoever. So any binder is perfectly safe. And that's where I'd start. Other than that, you really can't do anything. Unfortunately, it's just better wait till after you're done breastfeeding to detox. So Joanna, what is the best way to start improving lymphatic function after long periods, years of being inactive and ill? So really all of the things that we just mentioned earlier, you can do a replay of the video. I did a little talk. I know some of you guys are tuning in a little bit late. So once the video is done, it'll be posted back onto the Myers Detox Little Index, feed, and you can listen to the beginning of the program. And so, Annie, what is the best liver detox? So the best liver detox is a coffee enema. Supplement-wise, you can take Liver Life by BioRay, and these are all in the Myers Detox store. It's store.myersdetox.com. So we have Liver Life. We have there's a black box. There's a liver detox black box by Quicksilver, which is fantastic. It's got bitters. It's got phosphatidylcholine. It's got some other things in it that are fantastic. I love that little detox kit. I think it's a really good prep for detoxification as well to improve your liver. So Mark, I have Lyme and EBV, Epstein-Barr, limbs hurt, underarms, coffee enema, using infused CBD oil, coffee, a good idea? You can certainly do that. I mean, anything you insert into your colon, you will absorb. So people can absorb water, or salt. And I put salt in my coffee enemas before. But yeah, you can certainly put CBD oil and insert that rectally. I probably, you might get better use of it if you take it internally, if you, take it orally. But that's totally up to you. You can certainly do the CBD oil in coffee. And so Annie, thank you for joining us. So Paulina, one summit speaker said to never take iron, calcium, and copper supplements as they are toxic nutrients. Do you agree? I definitely do not. Everyone's different. I think most people should not take iron supplements. I mean, there's certain people that do need that. They have to take iron to feel better. So I always shy away from all or nothing type statements like that, where no one should take iron, no one should take calcium, no one should take copper. That's nonsense. But I think as a general rule, that's true, but some people definitely need calcium. And some people definitely need to take copper. They're deficient in that, but it's a delicate balance. And I think any supplementation like that requires working with a practitioner. I think most people don't need calcium. Most people need magnesium and vitamin K. And a lot of people have, get calcium in their diet, but they are not taking, they have deficiencies of the nutrients that shunt calcium into your bones. Because calcium is it's dumb. It needs direction. So it needs direction from vitamin D, vitamin K, and from magnesium to tell it to deposit into the bones. And then to have adequate mineral deposition of the bones, you need things like collagen, things like BioSil, and you need like silica and things to get into that collagen. You need a collagen matrix for your bones to be flexible, and so and for the minerals to deposit as well. So it's just not like a black or white type question. Everyone's a little bit different. And so Kathy, is there a test to verify SIBO? Well, there's breath tests, but they're not terribly reliable. There might be a new test out, but I really haven't kept up on that, so I couldn't really tell you. But overall, a lot of times people will go by symptoms, but I would, consult a functional medical practitioner to find the best test to do that, to test for that. So Joanna, what is the best way to replace minerals, electrolytes if you're doing coffee enemas? Is there a specific supplement you recommend? So one of my favorite mineral supplements is Oceans Alive. It's a marine phytoplankton that has all the macro minerals and micro trace minerals that we need. And that's kind of the base that I like to give people. And then on top of that, I usually will add magnesium and zinc, because those are minerals that people need more of typically. And so those, and also, coconut water is great. Like if you're doing infrared saunas, coconut water is a wonderful thing that I really crave after I do infrared saunas. But lots of different ways to get minerals. And sea salt, putting sea salt in your water, or heavily salting your food, very, very important as well to, replete minerals. So Katya, thank you for all the valuable information, your caring attitude. So what do you think about diatomaceous earth versus clay or charcoal? How do you know what is a good quality one, and what dose would you recommend? So I'm not a huge fan of diatomaceous earth because I've talked to our medical director, Dr. Bruce Jones, and some other doctors, and they were doing an experiment. They're giving diatomaceous earth with people with leaky gut, and found the diatomaceous earth was leaking into their bloodstream. And so this is not good. The diatomaceous earth is sharp, so it can cause a lot of damage, which is great if you have an intact gut and your gut lining is intact, because then it can just shred, parasites. It can be great for killing parasites. But if you have leaky gut, or you suspect leaky gut, or been diagnosed with leaky gut, you don't want to be taking diatomaceous earth, which is why I typically will shy away from that. And I don't really talk about that very much as a detox agent, because there's better, cleaner products to use to accomplish the same goals. So not a big fan of that. I think clays are great. I think charcoal is great too. Charcoal, you want to be kind of minimalist with that. Something you can definitely rotate as a binder. I take it if I drink alcohol, because it's a very strong binder, but it's indiscriminate. So it can bind a lot of minerals and other things that you need. So you just want to, go easy on that. I wouldn't take it more than once a week. And so Debbie, so how long do you suggest we do your detox cocktail? Would you do it for a week, a month, or until all the product is gone, or do it every day forever? So the Myers Detox Cocktail is what you're referring to, and this is something that, you know, I typically will have my clients do for a couple of years. So it's something I have them do throughout the entirety of their program. It's something you can do intermittently, but you usually want to take it on a near daily basis for quite some time, you know, it's just one of those things where detox, I talk about this a lot, detox is a lifestyle. Detox is a lifelong process. So to do the most effective detox, you need to do it fairly intensely for a couple of years. And so that would involve taking the Myers Detox Cocktail and the Mitochondria Detox that I have coming out in a couple of weeks. It's in the store right now, but we're debuting it in a couple of weeks. I'm going to have a webinar about the Mitochondria Detox that you guys will get an email for if you subscribe to our newsletter. You can go to myersdetox.com, and there's lots of different places on the site to subscribe to our newsletter or get a free ebook. You'll be on our email list, and we'll get notification when that webinar goes live. And that'll be in a couple of weeks on March 29th, I believe. And so the detox cocktail, you do have to take it for quite some time. You know, it's 6-7 days a week for a couple-year period. Yeah, sorry to break the news. And so Kate, which binders are your favorites? So I love modified citrus pectin. I do like charcoal intermittently. I do like green myeloid clay is really, really nice as well. And that would really comprise my favorite binders. And so Paulina, so how do you personally test your levels of minerals and vitamins? What is the most reliable test? While detox, I want to make sure I'm good on minerals and nutrients. So the number one test that I do is a hair mineral analysis. So I do that about every 3 to 6 months. And then I'll do a urine metals test with a DMSA challenge with glycine and BioSil about, you know, every 6 to 9 months. I'll do that test. And I'll also do a stool metals test by Trace Minerals International. And so those are the tests that I do to, you know, check my metal levels and kind of see where I'm at, see if my metal levels that I know that I have are coming down and which one, maybe new ones are excreting. Because as you go on your detox journey, you know, when your first test, typically what I see as a pattern is we don't always see a lot of metals on the very first test that people do. This is kind of interesting. So what the reason for that is usually people aren't detoxing very well. Usually they're coming to me, they have health issues, they're fatigued, they may have a medical diagnosis, and their body isn't detoxing very well. And so that means on the first test, the first HTMA or hair tissue mineral analysis, we won't see a lot of metals on the first test. But then when you start giving them nutrients, start giving them minerals, which helps displace metals out of the body, start giving them detox supplements, start getting better nutrition, start doing detox protocols, then the subsequent tests that they do every 6 months or so, we'll see more and more metals coming out on subsequent tests. And I verified this with Dr. Bruce Jones, who's our medical director, and other detox professionals, that they see this pattern as well. And so as you progress on a detox program, you have different metals maybe excreting out of your body when your body is ready to release that toxin. And so hair mineral analysis, like I said, is great. That's my first go-to because everyone can do that test and you can do it easily at home. It's relatively inexpensive. And so that's really probably my favorite detox test. So John, so thanks for all the great info. I've been doing daily coffee enemas, makes a huge difference in my RA, your rheumatoid arthritis, pain, and fatigue. I also just ordered a full spectrum portable infrared sauna. Yes. And any problems doing coffee enemas and sauna on the same day, or should I alternate? So I wouldn't overdo any one of those protocols. So I might do a sauna one day and then a coffee enema the next day. But if you're having a lot of pain from rheumatoid arthritis, then maybe every day is the right thing for you. Just make sure you're taking lots and lots and lots of minerals and magnesium and zinc so that you are not becoming deficient. Because you do lose some minerals when you do coffee enemas, but if you're doing them every single day, you want to just make sure you stay on top of that. But you can, many people like to do an infrared sauna, and then following that, do a coffee enema to help to excrete a lot of the toxins that were mobilized with the sauna use. So usually do infrared sauna first and then a coffee enema. But there's really no right or wrong here, just really kind of what works for you. That's a good kind of, 1-2 punch you can use, but it's really whatever works for you. But I wouldn't be doing both of those every single day long term. It's a little bit too much, too hard on your body, too much of a good thing. So Susan, I'm currently using charcoal, Takasumi Supreme. That is the bamboo charcoal. That's really, really nice. BioSil and or Pectisol C is binders to detox mold and heavy metals. So planning to begin using Quicksilver's Ultra Binder. That's a great binder as well. That's one of my favorite binders also, I forgot to mention. And the Takasumi is also one of my favorite binders as well. Can I continue using the Pectisol C and the BioSil, or would it be wise to discontinue these? So you don't want to discontinue the BioSil because that is not a binder, it's a mobilizer. So that's something you want to continue taking to mobilize toxic metals that cause fatigue. And then you can certainly rotate your binders. I think that the Pectisol C is the most universal binder. I think it gets the most substances, but you can certainly rotate them. I think it's good to rotate them as well. And so I would rotate them with the Takasumi Supreme and the Ultra Binder. But you can also switch off. You can do 1 bottle of Pectisol C. When you're done with that, you can then do the Ultra Binder by Quicksilver. When you're done with that, do the Takasumi Supreme. Just rotate them because they get a little bit different things. And so you can get a full spectrum there of everything that they will bind to. So Jen, if you're on a limited budget, would you suggest starting the BioSil and modified citrus pectin? Yes, so that's a great entryway to begin detoxing. That's a very simple, very effective protocol to start detoxing on a budget. And you can go on my store, store.myersdetox.com, and just grab the Mitochondria Detox protocol. It's $99, and I think that's really one of the most effective detoxes you can do. It's very, very simple, and it's cost effective and economical. So it's a great way to start. So I've heard that cruciferous vegetables are goitrogenic. Should we dump out the cooking water because of this? So no, you don't have to dump out the cooking water. The cruciferous vegetables, as long as they're cooked, it dramatically reduces the goitrogen, so you don't really have to worry about the goitrogens in them if you have thyroid issues. As long as they're cooked, they're fine. I don't ever eat raw cruciferous vegetables. I just because of the goitrogens in them, and I just think it's really, really difficult for your body to assimilate the nutrients in a lot of raw vegetables because the cellulose, the cell wall, the plant is so hard, and most people's digestion is so compromised. It's really difficult for us to digest, a lot of different raw foods. Lettuces are one thing, but a head of broccoli, your body's not really going to assimilate much nutrients in that. So yeah, as long as it's cooked, they're fine. So Anastasia, so what would you suggest for irregular menstrual cycles? So that's a tough one. I mean, there's so many different things that can cause that. But I mean, one of the most effective things I think is doing a Nest Health bioenergetic program, because that will regulate your hormones and just get your body functioning and address a lot of the different underlying causes of why you may be having irregular menstrual cycles. I mean, if you're, depending on your age, if you're going into perimenopause, I mean, that's just par for the course. There's nothing you can really do about it. If you're, into your late 30s or late 40s, you may be having perimenopause, and it's just normal to have irregular periods. But certainly there's a lot of, estrogenic chemicals and toxins, pesticides, parabens, and different products that interfere in our hormones, and detoxification can really, really help with that. Taking binders can help detox some of these metals, these toxins like plastics and pesticides and parabens that are in our body that interfere in our cycles. But if you really want to get to a big underlying root cause of hormonal issues, Nest Health is really a great way to go. So Josh, infrared sauna is a bit hard to come by. They're too expensive for me to buy. They're $50 a session at the local spa. How are those struggling financially able to access this kind of sauna? And I have a traditional sauna at my gym, so I use that. The traditional saunas are fine. I mean, they are effective at detox. It's just the The pulsating, the infrared sauna pulsation, that ray, it's a frequency that irritates a cell and causes to release more toxins than just the heat by itself. So the heat is effective at detoxing your body, it is, but it's just the infrared sauna makes it more effective, much more effective. So you have much more productive sweat, more toxins in the sweat. But if you can tolerate the extreme heat in a traditional sauna, by all means, it's better than nothing, and it does work, it's just not as effective. And so, Anastasia, I'm looking at your new Pectus LC on your website right now. I don't see a list of ingredients. Well, the ingredients on their back, are on the back of the product. Is just it's citrus pectin. It's citrus peel. So that's all it is. There's really nothing to it. It's just citrus peels and some sodium and potassium added. So that's all that's in it. So Joanna, what company do you use for hair mineral analysis? Why do you think it's the best company? So I use Trace Minerals, Trace Elements International, TEI, and I use that because they track 37 different minerals and metals. I used to use ARL, which is Analytical Research Laboratories, but I don't because they only test for 28 nutrients and metals. And so I thought, as long as you're doing the test, why not test for more substances? So, and I think that some of these companies, they can even add more, metals to the test if they wanted to. But at the moment, Trace Elements International, I think, is the best lab out there to do hair mineral analysis. I don't use doctor's data because they wash the hair with a Dow chemical, so I just don't recommend that. So some of the minerals will be off. The water-soluble minerals like sodium, potassium won't be showing or represented very well because of that. So I don't recommend doctor's data for that reason. So my armpits smell like ammonia at night while sleeping. What causes this? So you may have some various issues with glutathione production. You can have certain genetic issues that can promote that. And you said you read it can be too high protein in the diet. That certainly can be the cause. I mean, there's a lot of people reading about paleo and keto and all these things and are eating probably too much meat. A lot of men probably also could be, fall prey to that kind of marketing and eat far too much meat in their diet and fewer fruits and not as many vegetables. And so your diet should be primarily vegetables, and then everyone's different in this, but about 15% animal protein. Again, everyone is different. Some people do okay on a vegan diet, some people do okay on a vegetarian diet. The majority of the population needs to have animal protein and functions better when they have animal protein, but not too much. So you need to kind of play with that. Definitely if you're having ammonia-like smell, you want to reduce, animal protein in your diet and see if that doesn't help. And but you could have some other issues going on, but it can get complicated. So Bill McCullough, will the BioSil detox gadolinium? No, it does not. Unfortunately, it can get some free-floating iron, but the gadolinium, you primarily need to do, I believe it's EDTA for that. Yeah, you need to do EDTA for gadolinium. That's the only substance I know of that will detox gadolinium. It's very possible that modified citrus pectin and binders will also get gadolinium, so I'd definitely take binders to begin detoxing that, but EDTA is typically where it's at with that. We have a product in my store called Chelotox, and Chelotox is a suppository that you can use a few times a week, and that's what I'll give to clients that have gadolinium. And so Teresa, will the NEST program detox heavy metals? Yes, it does. Yeah, the NEST program, the NEST Health Bioenergetic program, will identify heavy metals your body's having a problem detoxing, and it will also help with detoxification. That's one of the main reasons I started using it, was to help people that really needed to detox, but they really weren't in a state, or their body's not detoxing well, they're just too sick to really even be thinking about putting the body under the kind of stress that happens when you're doing a detox program, or they're in a lot of pain, or they're just not ready to do a detox. So the NEST Health program is great for improving energy, improving sleep, improving the function of the detox organs like the liver and colon, lungs, skin, and kidneys, getting those functioning better, and that improving their metabolism and helping them to, and that in itself helps them to detox metals. There are some nutraceuticals. There's one called ES15 that's specifically for heavy metal detox, but that's not something I recommend people start out with or take unless they're pretty far along in their healing journey and detox journey, because it will detox you and you'll be won't feel very good. So that's something that's more advanced. But I am in the future thinking of coming up with a bioenergetic detox program. That will be out for a while though, so but look forward to that. That's in the works. So Joanna, would ionic minerals, silica by iodine work, or do you have to use biosil? Yeah, so the ionic minerals by silica, the thing with it, so all silicas will detox you, but there are so many different types of silica on the market, and they don't all do the same things. Like intestinal metal detox by Quicksilver is a silica, but it's very specific to binding certain metals in the gut, mercury, cadmium, lead, and copper in the gut to prevent their absorption. The silica in Biosil has been chemically altered. It's attached to a choline molecule, so that specifically gets arsenic, aluminum, tin, thallium, and cesium. Other types of silica like horsetail, natural silica doesn't get the metals that cause fatigue, like the arsenic, aluminum, and tin. So they're all very, very different. So I don't know offhand what the ionic minerals silica removes from the body, but it will remove some metals. I just can't tell you what. But if you want to 100% sure you're getting the metals that cause fatigue, you have to use the BioCell. And it's just because there's research studies that show that product removes the metals that cause fatigue. So Abby, I just looked up Pectosal's ingredients. The website has magnesium stearate. I've heard this isn't good. So here's the thing, magnesium stearate isn't necessarily bad. There's different types of magnesium stearate. There's ones that are made with trans fats that are used in very, very cheap supplements. There's ones that are vegetable-based. The vegetable-based ones are fine. There's not a problem in those at all. Very, very, very few people do have a sensitivity to magnesium stearate, and those sensitive individuals would want to avoid magnesium stearate. But it's magnesium stearate, I don't worry about that at all. I mean, there's a lot of very, very high-quality supplements that are using high-quality vegetable-based magnesium stearate. It's not something that you need to worry about. There's a great article on chriskresser.com about magnesium stearate and why it's there's a big fuss about that, but a lot of times it's just people speaking negatively about magnesium stearate. You typically see that where people are using that as kind of a marketing ploy to differentiate their products and claim that their products are better because they don't contain magnesium stearate. A lot of times it's marketing hype. It's just not something that I worry about. So Connie, I've been detoxing for years, but finding my lymph system isn't coping. Where do I start when lymph is such an issue? I walk most days. I use a vibration platform and dry brush. I have high mercury, copper, and tin. Purchased Pectosol C after hearing you talk on the Heavy Metals Summit. However, I have severe symptoms when I detox to the point where I can hardly function. So for that, you're not ready to detox. And if you've been trying for years and trying all different kinds of things, it's not working. That's when I recommend the Nest Health Bioenergetic Protocol. That's an amazing way to correct the issues in your body that are preventing proper function, proper metabolism, and detoxification. Because sometimes we really can't pinpoint what the exact problem is. You just can do a program like the Nest Health and just clear a lot of the energetic blocks. Maybe it's emotional trauma, maybe it's other things going on that are just, why your body's not working. And, it's not about just, keeping on with the detox and trying new things and trying new supplements and maybe you're not doing something right. It's really more about correcting underlying foundational problems, and the Nest Health program is very good at doing that. So that's typically what I recommend if you've been trying all kinds of things and it just hasn't been working. So Kate, for the text for your programs, is the text for your programs available? My auditory update is a bit slower. It's hard to catch everything. Unfortunately, we don't have the transcripts for the Facebook Lives that I'm doing. Maybe that's a good idea. Maybe I should put these on myrsdetox.com with a transcript. I think that's actually a really good idea. We've had a lot of requests for that. I do put all these videos on YouTube. So if you go on youtube.com/Wendy Myers, we do, a couple days after the Facebook Live, we do post these on the YouTube. And I do believe they have a transcription service on YouTube. There's a little button you have to press and you get the transcript, but it may not be a very good transcript if there's a lot of medical terms or names of supplements and things like that. But I may consider doing transcripts for the Facebook Lives and putting them on Myers Detox, because these are fun, and I know I enjoy reading transcripts also. Some of the interviews that I didn't do for the Heavy Metal Summit, rather than listening to them, I actually read the transcripts, so I just absorb information better that way. And I know we all learn differently. Some learn better auditorially, some learn better visually by reading. That's me, so maybe that's something I should consider. So Abby, Dr. Mercola says magnesium stearate. So I guess Mercola has an article on his site about magnesium stearate, but again, you have to make differentiations. Some magnesium stearate is bad because it's a trans fat, others are not, so it's not all bad. And Mercola has, I think, like 100,000 articles on his site, something crazy. So who knows when that was written, and sometimes it's done for marketing purposes. So I don't think people should be scared of magnesium stearate. You just want to be cautious if you have a known sensitivity to it and it really bothers you, which is the case with some people. So Melissa, so how do you recommend clearing the lymphatic system and the bile ducts? So the lymphatic system is great to detox. That is liposomal melatonin. I take liposomal melatonin every single night. It's wonderful. I don't sleep as well if I don't take it. And it's one of those things that helps to detox the brain. Also doing essential oils on your lymph system right here on your neck is fantastic. And you can also take the Iteries, that's the homeopathic cream that I talked about. It's a German company. It might be a little bit harder to find, but that is really, really helpful to help drain the lymphatic system as well, and help drain the lymph system right here that's responsible for detoxing your brain and the lymph draining from your brain. So that can be very helpful as well. You can also sleep on an incline. So there are certain beds that are made on an incline, and you can, I just stack my pillows up so that my body is kind of on an incline. That can help to detox your brain rather than just sleeping flat as well, and just use gravity to help pull the toxins out. So should I supplement with glutathione for the ammonia smell? You can certainly do that. Glutathione can be helpful. My diet is mostly vegetables. I am vegan. Okay, so that's where the problem is. So with packed lunch. So many times a zinc deficiency can cause a body odor like that. So if you're vegan, typically you're not able to get zinc from your diet. I mean, nuts do have zinc in them, and it says zinc on the label, but there's so many phytates that bind the zinc and bind the other minerals in the nuts. They're not bioavailable for you to absorb. And if you're not eating red meat, or like, where are you getting your zinc? So I think it's really important for, if you're vegan, to supplement with zinc externally, and you don't want to take more than 50 milligrams a day because then it can backfire and you won't absorb any. So that's where the smell is coming from. And I see this frequently. I have a very sensitive nose, and I have a few friends that are vegan, and I can actually smell their body odor. They have a strong body odor to me, and it's really just the zinc deficiency that's causing that. So that's what I'd recommend. And there's some other problems with the vegan diet. It's just that, you don't get a lot of sulfur-containing amino acids that you need for your phase 2 detox pathways to work. So if you're vegan or vegetarian, you have to take 1,500 milligrams per day of taurine. Taurine is a sulfur-containing amino acid that you cannot get in the vegan diet, so it's really important to supplement with that to help your liver detox systems, to facilitate detox when you're a vegetarian or vegan. So Rachel, can you say more about using foot baths for detoxing? Does this help with removing toxins? Does it also mobilize toxins? I'm wanting to find easy things I can do that will help me feel better while detoxing. So I love ionic foot baths. I have one. I have the AMD, the Ion Cleanse by AMD. And I think that's a great way to, and it's not that you're, part of the reason why it helps you detox is it changes the electrical current in your body. It changes the polarity in your body. It improves the polarity of your body, and this will facilitate detox. So we find that it's not that toxins are coming out into the water. It's not the colors changing the water, and that means you have more toxins. That's not what's happening. So that's a misconception. A lot of people will say, oh, that's the foot baths are a bunch of nonsense. The toxins are not coming out through your feet into the water. You're putting your feet in the water to get that electrical current in your body that then changes your polarity, that then facilitates detox, and you're excreting more metals through, over the 3-day period following the ionic foot cleanse and the foot baths. And so that's really the method there. And so following a foot bath, you want to be taking binders to bind up everything that you're doing. AMD has done a lot of amazing studies with autistic children, with autistic teenagers, and seeing their symptoms dramatically reduce over months and years of using the Ion Cleanse by AMD. So I really highly recommend those. They're great, and they're very easy for children to use or for elderly people to use, maybe may not tolerate a sauna. But they're also just really pleasurable and easy to use. So Josh, liposomal DIM from Quicksilver Scientific is supposed to reduce hypersensitivity and upregulate detox pathways. I had a worsening of my symptoms, I assume following use of that. So hope this is not off topic, but as part of the black box, I do very poorly with the supplement. Do you have any opinion on this, if any? And do you see, let's see, do you see Avmacol as an alternative to upregulate NRF2? So with a DIM, DIM is not for everyone. It's something that can definitely help to detox excess estrogen, to facilitate detoxification of estrogen, and just help the detox pathways. But it's just not for everyone. If it's something that increases your symptoms, and definitely you don't take it, something downstream, it's just affecting something downstream, it's not working for you. So that's really the only advice I can offer this time. Biochemistry can get very, very complex. But the general rule of thumb, if you take something and you feel terrible following use of it, stop taking it. It's not working for you. Sometimes you need less of it, and sometimes you need more binders. It can be complex. So usually working with a trained detox practitioner is the way to go to troubleshoot those little issues. So Bill McCullough, I love you, Wendy. You're the best. I love you too, Bill. Thank you. So Connie, yes, thank you. I have used the Nest about 5 years ago. Great. But my 2015 HTMH still showed high levels, so I guess it will go on for decades. I do lots of emotional healing with a HeartSpeak EFT. So we'll just keep going with that, trusting that the right information comes to me when I need it. But yeah, so you did Nest about 5 years ago. So it's one of those things where I don't know how long that you did Nest or tried it, but Nest by itself is not going to detox all of your heavy metals. It's simply going to get your body into a state where it will detox better. But regardless, you're still going to have to take supplements, chelators that grab onto metals, and binders to remove them from the body. That what I use Nest Health bioenergetics for is to just getting the body functioning better, getting people quick improvement of their symptoms, getting them better, getting them feeling better quickly. When like you're not here to detox, you're here to just feel better. That's the whole point. That's why you're on your health journey. You're looking at detox as a way to get relief of your symptoms and improve your health and your brain function or energy. That's great, but detox takes time. Detox is a slow process. So for me, I like to use Nest Health clients because it gives them fast resolution of their symptoms, and it gets them feeling better, and that's really what you're after, the bottom line. And so that's what I love it for, and that's what it did for me. And not only that, but you get improvement in emotional issues, emotional trauma, which can be a big cause of people's health issues and a big block for people's ability to detox. And so who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want to feel better emotionally? But NES in and of itself is not going to completely detox your body. It simply gets your body working better to facilitate the detox process. So Melissa, so should I fix my leaky gut before detoxing, and how do you recommend that? So, you know what, I think you want to improve digestion before detoxing, but I think heavy metals promote leaky gut, chemicals promote leaky gut. So I think it's important to start taking binders. I don't think you need to, I think people get in this mindset where they have to have this perfect time before they can start detoxing. They have to get their fillings out before they can start detoxing. They have to do this before they can start detoxing. But what does detoxing mean? I mean, you can take binders, just doing that as a detox. You can do infrared saunas if you have leaky gut. You know, there's lots of things that you can do. But I think generally you want to, you know, just start some, you know, take a step towards detoxification, do binders, do a Nest Health bioenergetic program. Usually Nest Health will you know, improve leaky gut pretty quickly. But also people need energy to hold their gut together, to have the desmosomes be held together, get these tight junctions. That takes a lot of energy. It's a very ATP intensive process. So doing the BioSil and the modified citrus pectin by itself, just those two things can really go a long way to getting rid of metals that interfere in digestion, interfere in stomach acid production, and interfere in energy production. And doing the binder can be really, really helpful. And it's a really simple detox you can do if you have leaky gut. So Bridget, what do you think about going barefoot and grounding by soil of the earth? Yeah, grounding is really, really important. You know, a lot of people's bodies aren't working correctly because they're not grounded. Our bodies need to have the same magnetic resonance or grounding capacity or polarity of the earth. We need to you know, our bodies are just meant to function like that. And so in caveman times, we slept on the ground. We walked barefoot. We have a very close relationship with the earth. And, you know, unfortunately, we've lost a lot of that. We walk with shoes. We live in high rises, or we live in a house that's 3 feet above the ground, or we've just lost connection with the earth. And our bodies were designed over millions of years to match the polarity of the earth, or the magnetic resonance of the earth. So that's very, very important for health to be grounded. So yeah, grounding, I'm a big fan. And so packed lunch. Wow, great info about the zinc for ammonia smell. I do take zinc, but maybe not enough. And it could be that you're not taking the right form of zinc. Zinc gluconate is good. Sometimes some zincs people are taking aren't really a very good form. Also, I've never heard that vegans need to take taurine, so I'm going to look into that right away. Don't cruciferous vegetables have enough of the sulfur you're talking about? So I'm not talking about sulfur. I'm talking about sulfur-containing amino acids. So these are things typically found in animal proteins. And certainly cruciferous vegetables, some of them, they will have some sulfur compounds, but I'm talking about sulfur-containing amino acids we find in eggs and meat, in dairy and things like that. There's a reason people have gas, you know, kind of sulfury smelling gas after they eat red meat. It's the sulfur-containing amino acids like taurine. And so if you're vegan or vegetarian, you have to take taurine. You just don't get it in your diet. There's nowhere you can get it except in animal protein, so you have to supplement with that. So that's kind of one, you know, one of the pitfalls of the vegan and vegetarian diets that the books don't tell you, or the advocates of the diet don't tell you. I was vegetarian for 18 months, and then I was vegan for 6 months, and so I've read all the books, all the literature, and it's a great diet. I mean, I'm all for the animals. I love animals. I don't want to kill them, but for me, my health really dramatically declined following being on the vegan diet. And that's just me. It just didn't work for me. And so my thyroid tanked, my adrenals tanked, and then my mood, I was just having fits of rage, actually, because I just wasn't making enough serotonin. So it's not a diet that really, I think, long-term can be sustainable for a lot of people, but some people do fine on it. I have a friend that's been vegan for 20 years or longer, and he's fine. Other people fall apart. So it's just about just about what works for you. You want to be smart. It's not about stopping eating meat. You've got to think about nutritional deficiencies inherent in those diets. And there's a reason vegetarians and vegans still get cancer, because they are missing certain nutrients they need to facilitate proper detox. And one of them is taurine, that facilitates phase 2 detox pathway in the liver, which is taking the trash out. So you're going to have a harder time taking the trash out without sulfur-containing amino acids. So meat actually does help your body detox. So it's kind of counterintuitive, but that is the case, unfortunately. So sapphire. So what other supplements should vegans take? I take B12, D, and DHA, as well as K2. So that's great. So good to take B12, methylcobalamin. Vitamin D is great. I'm not a huge fan of vitamin D supplementation because it's synthetic. I'm more a fan of getting vitamin D by roasting in the sun, basking in the sun, and eating not fish oil. I'm not a fan of fish oil or supplementing DHA. I'm more a fan of just eating fish, sardines, things like that. But you can't do that if you're a vegetarian. So DHA is fine, and K2 is great. My favorite supplement for K2 is megaquinone. And that's one of the only natural vitamin K supplements on the market. It has the K1 and the K2. It's an amazing supplement. We have that in the store.myersdetox.com stores. That's great. So Reed Davis, thanks so much for joining us. He's the head of the FDN practitioner program, which I graduated from. So happy to have him on our Facebook Live. So Bridget, so what is the best way to detox mercury from the brain and body systems? So number one, you want to be taking a binder. That's a great way to detox mercury. I talked about mercury on a previous Facebook Live, the one that I did last week. But supplements to detox mercury, one of the top supplements to detox mercury is the modified citrus pectin. That's great for detoxing it. The number one thing on the planet to detox mercury is DMPS. That's not something I really recommend. It can be kind of hard on the kidneys. Intestinal metal detox by Quicksilver will bind to mercury in the gut and prevent its absorption via the liver back into your body. So that's a great thing to take. If a lot of times we get metals in our diet, so you can take the intestinal metal detox by Quicksilver and prevent any lead or cadmium or mercury in your supplements or in your food or greens powders or wherever they may be, or in your water, from then absorbing into your body. It's a great way to prevent mercury from depositing in your body. The sodium lipoic acid, really helpful for mercury. Curcumin, I prefer liposomal curcumin to just regular curcumin supplementation. It's more effective. Garlic is great, just eating garlic in your diet. I like eating fermented black garlic. Really love that a lot. Glutathione is great for mercury, as is NAC, and selenium supplementation. Most people are deficient in selenium and should take that. I prefer S-E-methylselenocysteine by Life Extension. That's really the most effective form that I found. Other seleniums I found really haven't effectively raised people's selenium levels. I mean, I've had people take selenium for like 2 years and their selenium never went up. The form of a mineral or supplement matters. It doesn't matter what you take, it matters what you absorb. And the S-E-methylselenocysteine is the name of the game. That's the form of selenium you want to be taking. And then zinc, also very, very effective at detoxing mercury. So these Facebook Live shows with you rock. Thank you so much. I've tried commenting on your YouTube but never heard back. I'm not really so active on YouTube. Sometimes I'll comment when I'm in the mood, but just too many people are commenting on there. But I do have a couple moderators that are going to be helping me now, our Myers Detox Protocol practitioners that will be moderating questions on the website. I can't do everything myself, so we are going to have more people helping answer questions that I've personally trained. So hopefully you'll see more engagement there with your comments. So Lulu, so what liposomal melatonin do you recommend? There's a couple that I take. I really like the Biogenesis liposomal melatonin in the store, the Myers Detox store at store.myersdetox.com. It's fantastic. I also really like MicroLife Sleep. It's a product called Sleep. It's an MLM product, but it's something I really, really like. It's a really, really clean liposomal product. And also BioPure's liposomal melatonin is really nice as well. But the easiest one to get is probably in the Myers Detox store. It's the Biogenesis liposomal melatonin. And so Kaiser, so my blood pressure has been very low my entire life. I weigh less than 100 pounds. Is this normal? Yeah, some people just have low blood pressure. I mean, I have pretty low blood pressure as well. Naturally, it's never, never changed my whole life, no matter what I've done. So some people, it's just normal for them to have low blood pressure. And so Joanna, how long does the Nest nutraceuticals last, or the infoceuticals? I have some left from a few years ago. Are they still usable? So the imprintation of the information on the infoceuticals only lasts for about a couple of years. So I would probably just throw those away. And regardless, when you do a Nest Health scan, you usually want to start the infoceuticals recommended on that scan within about a week or so. And then you take those for about a month and you do a new scan. And you take the infoceuticals for that scan. So it's not something where those infoceuticals are really going to be relevant or helpful for you. So I just throw those away and start fresh. Do a new scan. So Josh, how something of an exposure do you see working with computers for 8 to 12 hours a day? I work in video games, so I just can't avoid a room full of computers. So just curious if you think this is significant toxic exposure. So yes, I mean, I work around computers all day long myself. I mean, I'm always on my computer, talking in front of my computer, doing something. So what I do, I actually, my health here, I use this, no, I don't have it with me, unfortunately. I use a My Health device. It's the Nest Health, part of the Nest Health program, and there's a setting on there for EMF. There's a setting on there for computer radiation, and that protects my body's energy field from interference from EMF, which is emitted by your computer, by the wireless internet that so many people are exposed to at their work. My offices are here in WeWork, and I'm staring at a cell phone tower right through the window here. And so I think most of us today are exposed to a tremendous amount of EMF. Why does EMF bother your body? Why is it a problem? It's because your body, and I talk about this on the Nest Health program, your body, the main way it communicates is your body's energy field. So you have your mass, you have your cells, but those all emit an energetic field. They have a field around them. So the main way your body communicates is quantumly. So your heart will send information to certain parts of the body. Your brain will send operating instructions to different parts of the body, and it happens like that. It's not happening primarily because of your nervous system or your neurotransmitters, your hormones. Those are slow communication methods, though we need those. Those are happening in the physical body. But the majority, all these trillions of things that are happening every single second, happen quantumly in your body's energy field. And so EMF make us so sick because those signals interfere in our body's ability to communicate and to function and our metabolism. So the EMS can cause various energetic blocks in different parts of our body. Depending on what the energetic block is, it interferes in that organ's physical functioning. And so by doing a Nest Health bioenergetic program, you can neutralize some of that EMF, give your body better protection against EMF, and by using a My Health device, you can very effectively, while you're sitting in front of the computer, protect your body's energy field from EMF. I also use this little device. It's called a Pure Harmony pendant, made by Robert Marking. This also, I wear this because it protects my body's energy field from EMF as well. That's not all it does. This does a lot of different things, but that's just one of the benefits of using it. I did a podcast on Myers Detox. Just type in Robert Marking or Pure Harmony pendant, and you'll find that podcast. He was also a speaker on the Heavy Metal Summit. So those are the things that I do to protect my body from EMF. They're very, very effective, and you do need to put some protection in place because you are, impeding your health and maybe cause long-term health issues from that EMF exposure. So guys, I'm starting to lose my voice. Usually I start to lose my voice about the 1 hour, 45 minute mark. I gotta call it. I gotta cut it off at this point. So I'm so sorry for any questions that I wasn't able to answer. You guys just keep coming out and keep coming at me with them. So we'll try to get some moderators on the Facebook Live. We're gonna have some moderators answer your questions even after the Facebook Live, so you will get some answers. So thank you so much for joining me. I love doing these. I love educating you guys. And we'll put some links to some of the things that I talked about in the comments section. And this video will be on YouTube over the next couple of days. So you can also find it there. You can also find all of the past Facebook Lives in the Myers Detox feed on Facebook. So join me next week. I haven't decided what I'm going to talk about yet, but it'll be something related to detox, or I might be interviewing somebody, a friend of mine, in some topic related to health. So join me every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Tuesday, and throw your questions at me, so have them ready. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a wonderful day.